Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, CI501. I'm very excited to be working on unit number 2. So in unit number 1, we went over learning theories. We went over behaviorism. We looked at cognitivism and social cognition slash social constructivism. And basically, the same sort of metaphor of using technology can be applied with all three learning theories. So when we're thinking about the use of teaching and learning with technology for unit number 2, I want us to think about how each of the three learning theories envisions technology. So behaviorism would consider technology to be a tool, and cognitivism would envision technology as a mindset, and social constructivism would envision technology as a social practice. And so they would be focusing on the identity change that happens when we use technology for authentic, meaningful purposes. So basically, the large questions that we're asking with this unit is, what is the place of technology in teaching and learning? What are the affordances and constraints of technology? How can we integrate technology into the classroom in a transformative way? And is tech a case of unrealistic and often overhyped technological solutionism, or is it something different than that? So the first article that we're going to focus on is one of the most foundational conceptual models in the field of ed tech, and this is the Kaler and Mishra. And basically, the authors propose that in order to teach well with technology, it is not enough to have content knowledge, so disciplinary knowledge such as knowledge of literacy, math, etc., nor is it enough to be a highly effective teacher and really have the pedagogy down. But in order to teach well with technology, this is a radical transformation that requires TPAC. And basically that is the technological pedagogical content knowledge. So remember the three circles. And so TPAC is the intersection of all three circles. And you can look at the diagram. So in the past, the focus has been on the what if of technology, when really we should focus on the how technology is used. So their theory is part of a methodology called design experiments. And they developed this theory over 5 years of developing professional development with teachers. So this model did not just develop out of nowhere, but came through extensive co-learning with teachers. And so they say technology is now so commonplace that effective pedagogical models should put technology at the center rather than as a separate thing to be learned. So instead of those one-off PD sessions that aim to teach you about skills or particular apps, we need to have a model of technology use that envisions the intersection of content knowledge, of pedagogy, and technology. So educators need to think critically about the use of technology in teaching and learning for a few reasons. One, because technology is changing all the time. Number two, it's often not designed for education. Number three, teaching is situated in complex social and cultural settings, and we need to think about how this learning happens. So their model relies on learning technology by design, which incorporates experiential learning in the context of becoming a practitioner who produces artifacts of this learning, such as digital videos and other things. So remember, when we thought about the three learning theories model, and I said that the metaphor here for each of the three major learning theories would envision technology as a tool or as a mindset or as a social practice in which identity is important. This falls in number 3. And so they're focused on helping teachers to become practitioners and to become designers of technological experiences. So in learning technology by design, learning is an active process that involves creativity, is dialogic, and reflective. The complexity of real-world problems are central, and the role of the instructors to facilitate this practice. So for example, how we become a teacher scholar via social media in CI501. 3 examples of learning technology by design. And they provide 3 examples from the development of the TPACK model. And TPACK is descriptive, inferential, and applied. So I encourage you to, as you read this article, focus on the big picture. As I said, don't get hung up on each of the 9 different things, but really focus on the big picture, the intersections. Okay. Second article is again a very powerful EdTech conceptual model. And the questions that Solomon and Perkins are asking are, how well do technologies help us solve problems and make decisions? So they talk about 3 effects of using technology. These are effects with, effects of, and effects through technology. So what are the cognitive effects involving tech use? Effects with technology. Again, these are 3 kind of forms of tech use, going from kind of consequential to most consequential. So effects with is the kind of intellectual partnership that we have with technology, and the cognitive functions are distributed between the tool and the user. So for example, thinking about the use of Google Maps, right? So in the past, we would have to know how to get to a place, and that would often involve map study and really becoming familiar. Now we have offloaded that particular kind of cognitive demand onto the technology that we use. They give more examples such as writing on the computer or using a symbol system, and the focus is on the interaction, and technology use is simply part of that system. Next is effects of technology. So this is the focus on the enduring effects of using technology, or the long-term consequences of using technology. And the important phrase to remember here is that technology amplifies people's cognitive abilities. So being exposed to visual technology or video games can lead people to see and act in new ways. So there's something so particularly powerful from technology use that it can amplify our own kind of intelligence in the world. So technology is a scaffold that can theoretically lead from effects with to effects of. So finally, so going back to effects with technology, the transformative changes that reshape the activity system. So does tech use amplify certain activities or fundamentally change the activity in itself? So in my work, I've argued with colleagues that social media transforms literate practices and enables new forms of reading, writing, and teaching and learning. So it is not simply amplifying existing practices, but it is fundamentally transforming them. The third article is about connected learning. And this is an equity-oriented model that uses new media to reach and enable youth who otherwise lack access to opportunity. And I know this model is very long, but I just want to focus on a few things. So connected learning is a peer-supported, interest-driven, and academically oriented model. Connected learning experiences produce something that are linked by a shared purpose and in a networked environment. And in connected learning, people participate by doing an environment of constant change and interconnection through the use of new media such as movie making, social media, etc. We have more opportunities for engagement. We have ways to find information and expand opportunities for capacity building and equity. So I know this is roughly a 90 or 100 page article, so I want you to jigsaw this lengthy article in small groups of 3 or 4. So rather than reading the whole 90 or 100 page article, I want you to get in groups and to each be responsible for a section. So I want you to skim the challenges section and note some of the big picture challenges. Skim all the sections and just be able to highlight the most important features of that section, okay? And finally, for the connected learning case studies, I wanted to give you guys concrete, real-life examples of what connected learning looks like in the classroom. So I want you to focus on one chapter. So the chapters are, as you can see, interest-driven learning, peer-supported learning, academically oriented teaching, production-centered classrooms, openly networked, or shared purpose. Then I want you to read the case studies in those, and they're usually 3 or 4, and look for common themes and differences across the cases. Then, after reading the case studies in one chapter, I want you to focus on these questions. How do these case studies reflect the challenges and the learning outcomes proposed in the previous model? And how do these case studies reflect particular core properties and new media opportunities? Okay. So as we experience different models of learning and teaching with technology, I want you to reflect on the learning theories that were presented in Unit 1, and I want you to think about the unique contextual, real-life practices in your classroom, as well as those of the surrounding community, as well as those in the larger society, to think about how we can design equitable learning spaces that use all of the affordances of new media to open up access to meaningful, engaging learning for all our students. Thank you very much. I look forward to our Zoom session this week.